Hello everyone, it's your friendly friend Philippe Recto here, and I wanted to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. It is December 23rd, 2019 as I am making this little video here. Now, this Christmas, my wife unfortunately got a bit of the cold, which really sucks for her. But I wanted to make sure she gets healthy and, gets through it. At least as well as possible. So we really do like ramen. We don't mind having cheap ramen noodles, but I wanted to elevate it for her and give her a little something where she can have ramen without having to go to one of those fancy ramen places. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna have some cheap ramen noodles with some elevation on its flavors. So, as you can see here, got your cheap Maruchan ramen noodle soup. You probably see this in every store that you probably go to. Even a 7-Eleven has these particular packets. And it comes with the packet flavoring in here, which we're still going to use here. Now, we're going to add some stuff here. We're going to add, to help combat some cold, a couple of lemons. Fresh lemons, which is pretty cool because our neighbor grows lemons from their lemon tree, and they always give us free lemons, which is great. Picked up a jalapeno pepper, where we're gonna chop up and make the soup nice and warm and hot. Gonna throw in some fresh carrots. Ginger always helps whenever you're sick. It's always good to have some ginger. We're gonna add some rich creaminess to it by cracking a couple of eggs into it. Some fresh cilantro for flavor. We're going to also add some scallions or green onions, whatever you'd like to call it. We're also going to be adding some mushrooms for extra texture. Mushrooms are always great for me. We're going to throw in some drumsticks in there because, hey, it's chicken ramen, but without some chicken meat, what the hell, right? So we're going to throw in some fresh chicken. Always good to throw in dark meat for that extra flavor. We want to get also the bones sipped in, and I'll show you a little later. We're also going to throw in some black pepper, some ground black pepper. I'm going to add some oil, a little bit of extra fat in there, and this is sesame oil. Thank you. Couldn't remember there for a second. And also some fresh black and white sesames as well. So that's the ingredients. We're going to start making it very soon. Alright, so we're going to start with cutting up and prepping some of the ingredients here. I'm going to start with the ginger, and I saved you guys time by actually taking out the peels already for it. But we're going to slice it into like thin slices here. It's nice to have those ginger slices, especially in the cold weather, Ginger, and I ain't the scientist who knows stuff about ginger, but I know ginger is usually associated with cold medicine. So, hence why I like to use it. Plus, ginger is used in a lot of Asian cuisine, and therefore it gives that really nice Asian texture. Now, I know there are some chefs out there who like to make their thing pretty. I am not a chef, and therefore pretty is not in my nature. And if anybody who's my friend knows, I'm not that pretty, but I am that sexy. Alright. Take all that ginger here. I'm going to put it away. Part of the fun of cooking is always in the prep. I love prepping the food ahead of time. As probably most chefs will tell you, that's why they are the chefs. Next, I'm going to cut up this jalapeno. As you can already see, I took off the top here. Now, I'm going to leave the seeds in. Why? Because that fieriness is what my wife loves. She loves it spicy, she loves it hot. The hotness comes from those darn seeds. We're going to have to crack a sweat. When you have a cold, you want to crack a sweat. You don't want to get all freezing and not have whatever. And I'll leave that end piece. Why not? Because the end piece are always fun to eat. Add that there. Take more of those seeds. Make sure I don't wipe my eyes later, or at least wash my hands after. Which, by the way, is a good idea to wash your hands. Alright, let's chop up some cilantro here. Cilantro, again, nice Asian flavors. Good stuff to add with soups, you know, especially chicken. I love cilantro with soup. It's not only a good flavor in regards to Asian cuisine, but it's also good in Mexican cuisine. Okay. One thing I did learn about cooking is that it's nice to have various different colors in your food. Hence why I like adding carrots. Carrots are fun. They give that counter color. You see a lot of greens here. We want to get some fresh color in there. Plus, carrots always go well with, you know, chicken soup and all that good stuff. It's also another one of those international root ingredients that you can add to your soups. Always fun, always good. Plus, it adds to that texture of, obviously. Plus, I'm pretty sure carrots are healthy for you, you know. I am definitely not a chef in terms of like speed of cutting up stuff. I am more of a home cook that does not like to cut his fingers. Alrighty. Got a separate bowl for that one. By the way, people, wash your hands when cooking. It's always good. Make sure you got clean hands. Clean hands are always great. Alrighty. Next, I'm going to chop up these mushrooms. Another texture thing to add. You don't have to, and you know what? In regards to making this soup for the cold, really the main ingredients you want to add is the ginger and the lemon. And the jalapenos, of course. Because you want the heat, you want to sweat, you want the lemon for that citrus, because everybody knows citrus is very good for colds. And you want the ginger, because that helps you fight your cold. Ask a scientist why. I have no idea. I'm not a scientist, damn it. I just read magazines on cooking and health magazines. Alright. One thing I like looking at when it comes to all of this stuff is looking at how they all look in the end, you know? It's obviously fun cooking. I think I like creating, period. Everything looks so colorful and lovely. We're going to save this for the last, because this is going to go into the soup lastly. In fact, when it's all done. So I'll take care of that in a little bit. Of course, chop up our lemons in preparation. Beautiful lemons. Actually, since we're in prep mode, I guess I'm going to have to slice this up anyway and put it aside. So, let's get another bowl here. Now, all these ingredients are pretty cheap in this grocery store, you know. They don't cost much, but they make your dollar or whatever the cost of your ramen is really, really elevated, you know. And it's still cheaper than going to a ramen house, basically. Alrighty. Now, as for these chicken pieces, by the way, when you're playing with chicken, make sure you wash your hands afterwards. You don't want to have salmonella problems. I like to cut open these chickens, cut through the bone. Reason being is I want the marrow to be wide open. And I want it to seep into the soup. Oh, that will cut better. Now, I don't really care about cutting it all the way through into different pieces. I just want that bone marrow. Whew. Yeah, definitely not graceful. Alright, so we got all our ingredients prepped. This is going to go into the soup regularly. Talk about not knowing your words and cooking. But I'm just going to crack it in the soup as it's boiling. Alright, when we come back, we're going to actually throw it in the pot. Alright, so I just finished washing my hands. We're going to go ahead and start the fire here. If I can light this darn thing. There we go. Put the flame on 5. And instead of boiling the water directly, I have an electric kettle. And it's boiling like crazy already, so I don't have to work so hard or wait so long for the water to be nice and boily for the noodles. Alright, so we got the water all boiling already, and that's not going to be a problem ready to get started. So first thing we want to throw in, not the noodles, we're going to throw in the sesame oil. It's going to give it that nice rich fat flavor and that beautiful aroma of the sesame. Next thing we're going to throw in are these carrots, because I want them to have a nice texture of, well, not really mush, but just, you know, it's going to have a little bit of crunch still to it. But we definitely want it to not be too hard. So we're going to make sure that boils in. Throw in those spicy jalapenos. And we're going to throw in the chopped ginger. Let's get all the good ginger stuff in there. Alrighty. And of course, we're going to throw in the chicken. It's going to sit in the water, let it cook. We want all that goodness in there. And we're going to stop right there first. Oh, actually, we can throw in one more thing, but I got to wash my fingers and my hands because I just touched the chicken. But I'll show you what I'm going to throw in the next. Alright. Hands are washed. Now I'm going to open up these ramen noodle packets and take out the seasoning, because we do want to put the flavor in there already. We might as well. Now, I do know that some purists out there are probably going to be like, oh, that's disgusting, you're using pre-made stuff, whatever. Well, the whole point of this is elevating cheap products, elevating cheap food and making them taste better than what it is. So, you use what you have, but you don't have to just succumb to just what you've got. You know, I've had ramen noodles my whole college years and younger, you know, and I know it can be, but it's comfort food, you know, it's comfort food for anybody that's been through college or anyone's that's eaten on the cheap. So I really do recommend, if you want to come back and relive your college years with ramen, you don't have to just do the cheap quickie ramen. You can always elevate it with some real meat, some real vegetables, things of that nature. And you know, there's some other vegetables you can add into it too. You can totally add in bok choy, for example. Bok choy is a pretty good vegetable you can throw in here. But I didn't bother with this one. We're gonna make it a little bit more closer to the ramens that they have. Anyway, this is going to have to simmer and boil for a little bit. We definitely want the chicken to be cooked before we start throwing in stuff. So we'll be right back with that. Stay tuned. Alright, welcome back. Let's check on our chicken stock and whatnot. It's looking pretty good. Looks like the bones are cooked in, bones cracked open. Some of that bone marrow should be melting in with that sauce. I'm going to taste this real quickly. Always good to taste. Yeah, that's good. So the reason why I wanted to taste it as well is I wanted to make sure there was enough salt in it. You know, I didn't want it to be too much water or whatever. So that was, wow, perfect. Okay, so we're gonna add in the ramen noodles now. Anybody who's cooked with this stuff remembers how fun it is to watch this turn into noodles. So we're gonna stick that in there. Get some of that stock and broth in there. And we're gonna close this sucker up. Wait for it to get nice and soft before we start taking on some other ingredients. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright, let's check up on this guy. Looks like the noodles are definitely breaking up. Love mixing it up. Get all those flavors in on each other. Alrighty, let's add some extra flavor savers in there. So this is a Cold Buster. So we're gonna add some fresh cracked pepper because we want that extra sweat. And yeah, oh yeah, and my wife loves it peppery. So you can put as many how much pepper as you want. She definitely likes it a little bit on the ground pepper. Gonna throw in our mushrooms. Wonderful. And the reason why I'm throwing in mushrooms now, it doesn't take long for mushrooms to cook. You know, not like the carrots and the chili peppers or the jalapenos, because I want that jalapeno to be part of the stew. The mushrooms will just sit in there, extra, I guess, you know, texture into the ramen noodle soup. Oh, look at that. Wonderful. Now the fun part. My favorite part, actually. See how I'm pushing some of that extra stuff to the side of the pot. Grab my eggs. And I like to just dunk it in there. And what's nice about that, we're going to let it sit in there. We're not going to stir it in. We'll let some of that yolk kind of cook a bit. And let some of that, that richness, that's going to add some creaminess to the actual ramen broth. So we'll let that sit for a little bit in there. That is cooking up really nice. See, I have to stir it up a little bit. Yeah, you can see the egg yolks still intact, which is lovely. I like to crack it in the last second in there. And now we're going to throw in some other goodness. the cilantro. Some wonderful flavors there with the cilantro. Avoid the yolk. Okay. And now, scallions or green onions. And my wife, I trust her. You can have the lemons on the side, but I know she loves lemon. And this is not your traditional ramen to throw in lemon, but again, this is more of a cold buster. So we definitely want some citrus in there when you're making something special to combat the cold. Now you don't have to put as much lemon as I do, but my wife likes it lemony. She likes the zest, the tang, you know. Now that's in there, we can go after the yolk. As you can see, since I cracked open the yolk, now it's getting a creamy sauce, or it's getting creamy in there. That's kind of like the magic. Nice. That's looking lovely. And that's pretty much ready to serve. So when we'll be right back, I'm going to throw it in the bowl and show you the final outcome of this wonderful homemade cheap ramen. Alrighty, so we're ready to serve. And this is going to look nice and pretty. Obviously, I like to separate it. And we'll probably have enough for leftovers. And my wife and I will start with one leg each. Why not? Just one, just in case. She can always come back for leftovers. Now I got a nice scoop of the vegetables, and you see that nice egg right there. Scoop up all the veggies as she can. She is a veggie girl. I'll get some of that noodles. Cover it all up. Beautiful. Of course, we need the broth. Do not forget the broth. It's getting kind of hot to hold. And there you go. A beautiful homemade ramen with cheap ramen noodles. Thank you for tuning in. Hope that this makes you happy. And glad to share this little recipe with y'all. Take care. Psych, not done. Totally forgot to add the black sesame seeds. So let's sprinkle some black sesame seeds there. Some black sesame seeds there. Now it looks absolutely pretty. Yay! Enjoy. Happy holidays.